if there's anybody out there that says, hey, I don't trust the government, and hey, I don't trust pharmaceutical companies, you're not crazy.
Yeah, but...
The Extraordinary Nobodies was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Some New York City kids are not getting into school this September because that's the law. The law says if your kids don't have their shots for dangerous diseases like mumps, measles, and polio, they aren't getting into school. The law also says they must go to school. So you have no choice. Get your kids their shots. Call 349-2664 to get free shots now. Remember, no shots, no school. It's the law.
It's called the Extraordinary Nobodies podcast.
Get this show on the fucking road. Let's intro it.
I mean, it doesn't really need to be any sort of formal intro. Welcome to the Extraordinary Nobodies podcast. Does that
I don't
work
like
for you?
it.
Does that fucking suffice?
No, it's not exciting enough. Get the people riled up. Ooh, Extraordinary Nobodies. Welcome to our first ever episode extravaganza. We're talking about the vaccine and some other stuff.
Like, it's not. Here's the thing. I know that the first episode is called The Jab, and you have no idea what we're going to say as far as the vaccine. I also know that I'm not necessarily going to be the most politically correct person. I will say, when you did that whole little bit, the only thing that came to mind, and I know you're not allowed to say this in 2023, but that was some of the gayest shit I've ever seen in my life. No, it's not okay. I'm just saying.
That was exciting.
Like that,
beautiful. That was beautiful. Beautiful. Woo.
Nah, man, fuck that. All right, so, yeah, everybody, welcome to the first, the inaugural episode of the Extraordinary Nobodies. I'm Kadeen, or also known as K-Dot. This is my friend, Brendan, wearing the hat and the really, really, really open polo. Don't know what you're going for right now.
Gotta see the chest hair. Gotta keep the ladies and gay men interested, bro.
If you weren't so pale, I'd say you're going for like a Donald Trump on the golf course look. Very, very much
like
giving that vibe right now.
I like that. Yeah,
Mar-a-Lago.
I'm not orange enough. You get the spray tan out.
Yeah, you get the good Mar-a-Lago going. No, so like I do 2 podcasts pretty much every week. Dish Divided, who probably most of you guys are coming from, at least initially, and All Sorts of Sports. I'm tired of the sports shit. I'm done. I'm still planning on doing those podcasts, but I mean, motherfucker, there's been so much I want to say about motherfuckers dribbling or throwing a goddamn ball. I mean, I care about the shit. We're going to talk about some of the sports here. We're going to talk about NFL playoffs here, but I need an outlet to talk about some of the other shit. Me and you talk on the phone every fucking day, and we're like, we should record this, right? So, yeah, let's just do fucking that. Let's just have fun and talk about the shit we want to talk about like we were just talking to each other on the phone.
Yes. I'm Brendan. Known Kadeen for years. We talk about this shit all the time via phone conversation. What? What are you laughing at? My outfit again? I'll do a little intro about myself.
The outfit doesn't make it better, nor does the fact that you're trying to set up in front of the bookshelf, which you could clearly see is only one shelf, trying to make it look like a fucking library. It's one shelf. The worst organization.
I'm not going to scoot over because it's messy, but there's another shelf over there. Right over there, there's another shelf.
All the fucking space above your head that's empty with all the mess behind you. If you're going to rock the bookshelf,
it's
try
not
to not
a
make
library.
It look like
all these books are used far too frequently, Kadeen, to be put in shelved order. I read all of these things,
you're giving Ted Kaczynski
in their
vibes.
own land, and the
Fucking
Bible,
Unabomber.
Worldly philosophers. All these are regularly used books. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah,
I see Mein Kampf in the corner.
We have
look at him making sure it's not showing.
Dan Pfeiffer. That's my audition for the Pod Save America, the Crooked Media network. Yeah. No.
Jesus.
But we've just been friends forever, and we talk all the time, so we figured some other people might be interested. God knows. But I was reluctant to do this because I feel my friends and family are obligated to listen to my inane dribble and stupid takes. But apparently, Kadeen thought it was a good idea to subject the rest of the world to that. So, buckle up.
To a certain degree, I mean, me and you, we did the episode for All Sorts of Sports with the police brutality episode. They got like 40,000 views, so there's something.
You got
there.
40,000 views. Apparently, I got hate mail too for my little Blue Lives Matter, thin blue line joke. Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of hate. I get the same shit on my Instagram, but yeah, I mean, I need a forum that I could talk about shit because I mean, what was it last week and a half ago? Me and my dad got into a very, very rowdy conversation about gun control. And it ended with him doing the smush thing in my face and me threatening to knock his fucking head off. So,
Ooh, spicy.
Gets a little testy.
Yep, get a little testy.
So I know that, I mean, it might not matter to anybody else, but there was something that happened to me earlier this week that I know you want to give me shit on in some sort of public platform, and I'm ready to take shit.
I will be calling Mr. Wiggins over here, K. Dot, whatever he goes by.
Don't use my
Mr.
fucking last
Yips.
name on here. I'll use my last name on here. I don't
Our
need
face
the
is on here. It's so stupid, so dumb. It's so dumb.
I want a character name. It's K-Dot.
My name is Brendan Nichols. That's my first and last name. I'm not going to tell you my address, but everything else you can look me up online. My social media presence is incredibly boring. So I'm going to call him Mr. Yips from now on because something happened to Kadeen that I've never seen or heard happen to anybody else before. He got the yips for entering his cell phone passcode to unlock his phone. So what was it, on Tuesday?
Yeah.
On Tuesday, he locked himself out of his phone for all day. Because, after you enter in too many passcodes, it locks your phone for X number of minutes. And as you keep failing, it gets higher and higher. He did that all day until he eventually had to reset his phone early on Wednesday morning, in the wee hours of Wednesday morning. Lost all whatever that he didn't have backed up on it because he forgot something he enters in dozens minimum time a day. How many you've done the screen time, right? How many hours a day do you spend on your phone?
Well, since it's my phone's basically new again, I don't know if it does the update.
Yeah, it doesn't have the date any longer. Let's lose too much time. So Mr. Yips over here.
Let's see if it's here. Keep talking.
But don't worry, I did the kind and generous thing and alerted our entire friend group to Kadeen's plight. So if they could, if they needed to get in contact with him, they had to know that he couldn't, send texts or WhatsApps. They could only call him because that's the only thing you can do when your phone's locked. Swipe right. It didn't matter.
You didn't really. I don't think you got the response you wanted. Nobody really fucking replied to it. So
no, that's not true. Both Aaron and Lexi thought it was hysterical.
Yeah,
and Lexi thought it was amazing. Although Lexi's such a hypochondriac, he started backing up his phone because he was concerned he was going to forget his passcode too. Like it's somehow infectious.
Man, I'm gonna tell you this. Like so I did find my screen time is. I know the camera's not gonna pick it up without fucking up the zoom.
Yeah.
But 16 hours and 54 minutes a day. So look, and then that's it was probably on the high side to between when I did the upload. But usually I'm around like 14 hours or something because I use my phone for work and all kinds of other shit. But look, all right. In my defense,
there's no
number
defense.
one. Shut the fuck up. There's no defense. Number one, the same reason that our boy Lexi decided that he wanted to go ahead and back up his phone is overall, as we're going to talk about when it comes to the vaccine and everything, Americans are dumber, and that's all of us as a collective. So I just want to say the bell curve is a little different than it used to be. Okay, then number two, just saying. But then also beyond that, look, I know I use the face unlock to unlock my phone most of the time, right? And that's what typically is going on. Is typically I just look at my phone, it unlocks, it does whatever, majority of the time throughout the day. Now, because of my job, I have multiple phones. No, I'm not a drug dealer, but there's a lot of there's a lot of different devices. Even right here, I've got two phones right next to me. I got another phone that's right there, and I got an iPad that's sitting right here.
You're not dispelling the drug dealer stuff. Right,
I don't give a fuck. Even growing up, every time every one of your guys' parents, they used to come over to the neighborhood with a different car, the rumor was Kadeen might be a fucking drug dealer. I get it. I wear it. I know it's just racism. Fuck all y'all. But beyond that, it's just...
We actually had a drug dealer in our friend group, and it wasn't you.
I'm not going to throw everybody... See, you just try to throw everybody...
Hey, I didn't say any names.
Episode 1.
The people who know will know.
This isn't a closed podcast. This is supposed to be going out to the world. You out here just fucking snitching on everybody.
Not everybody's friend crew. Lots of friend crew had a high school drug dealer. It's no big deal.
Just don't stop incriminating motherfuckers, man. Just stop. You snitching for already. It's episode 1. Jesus.
Keep going. All
right, look. So
mediocre at best defense.
So what ended up happening was that morning I had to upload something for I'm a consultant and I do a lot of social media work for a lot of different companies. So what ended up happening was I couldn't get something to upload to Instagram. And like most millennials, when you have an issue, if you can't blow into a cartridge, what do? You restart it. So I restarted the phone. And when you restart the phone and you come back, the facial recognition thing doesn't work. You have to enter in your passcode. So when I entered in I tried to enter in the passcode. It was just like, boop, boop, boop. It didn't go through. Now, typically, when you do it the first time, it lets you go through like 5 or 6 times before it says like you're locked out for a minute. It didn't fucking do that. It locked me out for a minute off the first try. So I think it was already saying that I was at like 5 tries, which is bullshit. Okay?
You had to set it.
And then from that sort of standpoint, I was overthinking it. I lost all confidence in myself. I was over.
You've just described the yips.
I get it, but I'm just saying it's not.
Yips.
I don't think it's something. While I haven't heard it happening to a lot of people. Well, you know what? No, fuck that. I have heard it happening to a lot of people because I did what most people do when something's affecting me. I went to Twitter and I went to Reddit and I started doing some searches and I wasn't alone. Okay, there are other people.
There are always more people. There are always idiots out there you can find. If your group is to find a group of idiots who've all locked themselves out of their phone and had to reset it factory, you're going to find a group. Just like if you're into fucking animals, you're going to find a group like that too. Yes, I'm calling those two groups equivalent.
That's just a hell of a place to go to. Like, that's the example you use. People fucking animals.
Yeah,
just,
you can find a group of
Christ.
anything. Look, you go Jeffrey Epstein's crew. That was a crew. You can find a crew for anything. Doesn't mean it's good. Yeah.
You know what? Before I get incriminated in something I'm not fucking involved in, because you just fucking flying loose right now. Yeah, I have my phone again, and actually, I don't do a good job as far as backing up, so I have lost a lot of files and some information I really fucking needed. All my photos are still there. Even more text messages than before. Like, backlog of text messages from, like, all the way from 2017 are now on my phone. Because I'm not one to delete text messages. Yeah. I recovered everything. So, actually, my phone right now is working better than it has in the last year. It's got, like, it's kind of moving quick. It's not bad. It's not fucking bad.
I'm glad you found a silver lining in the situation. You were not happy when it was happening.
No, it was frustrating because it did fuck me up with work. Because then I had to get in because it happened, but I had a meeting that I had to be down in D.C. At a certain time. So if I'm not on Wi-Fi with the other devices I have, I'm done. So I get in the car, throw on the Bluetooth. The phone did work. I could receive phone calls through my Bluetooth on the car, but I couldn't make calls out, I think it was, and I could hear the notification, but I couldn't see any what the notifications were because my phone was
That makes sense because you don't have to unlock your phone to receive calls. You just have to swipe, right? So there was that. Now, I don't know what it was that it only played 5 songs the entire drive that I drove down to D.C. So it was 2 Prince songs. It was Raspberry Beret, and it was I Would Die For You. And then it had 2 Billy Idol songs, Rebel Yell and White Wedding. And the 5th song was Robert Palmer. Was it Simply Irresistible? Simply Irresistible.
So I had those on a loop. I couldn't listen to any podcasts. I don't like terrestrial radio that much, especially when the football season for the local town is over. It's just useless listening to that shit. So yeah, it was. I was fucking. I was aggravated, and then come to find out the following day how many people were trying to reach me via text, and now I gotta kind of do. I'm not willing to fully admit what happened. So.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't either, except on this podcast. You have to, but yeah, you got to send them. My phone was lost. I mean, that's the only acceptable thing. Sucks, but it happens to people.
Talk to my they're like, so yeah, I really tried to reach you. I sent a bunch of texts and you didn't reply. I'm like, oh, I had some difficulties with my phone.
Dude,
I was out of the house for a while.
Technically, you aren't lying. You did have technical difficulties with your phone. They were entirely self-inflicted technical difficulties and embarrassing.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I came clean to her. I told her I told her what happened, and we were talking on the phone. This is a person that I've known sort of professionally for a few months, but I've never met her. But now we're transitioning where she's taking over a project that I was on. And you could tell the moment that I said it and I copped to what happened, her entire tone changed, and I think she thinks less of me.
Of course. She probably thinks that, there's something a little wrong. She's probably like, is this like a Make-A-Wish type deal over there? Or what's going on? Yeah. Then she's like, makes sense, I'm taking over now.
It
Here we
does.
go. The parasite has burrowed too far into his brain. It's gotten to the point where it can't be helped any longer. Yep.
All right, fuck
Yep.
it. So off of this shit. Are you done? Are you done making fun? Well, not.
Yes,
I know you're
I'm
not done making fun of me. Are you done
no.
making fun of me for this on this fucking episode?
For this bit, it'll probably come back at sometimes. It will definitely come back. Will it make a reappearance in this podcast? Nobody knows.
It's bullshit. I thought I brought a bottle of water over here. Oh no, there it is. Let's go. Reach back. Get that. There we go.
It's like Jabba the Hutt reaching for his snacks.
So you said a couple things, and it made me want to wonder what it is we were going to transition to next, because we want to keep this thing a little more conversationally flowed than too rigid. Because you're not going to come up with any fucking outlines as far as the show goes. You just want to show up, and I want to be able to keep that
I'm
dynamic
the talent,
there.
bro. We talk about practice. We talk about practice.
I want to keep this dynamic here so that when I feel like booting you from my fucking podcast, I can whenever I feel like it without any guilt. So,
Without any guilt, yeah.
So you mentioned idiots and this, that, and the other, and I know that's how you feel about anti-vaxxers, so I thought maybe we go there. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go there.
Why are you making the transition weird? We're talking about anti-vaxxers now. They're idiots. I've written them off as people.
All right. So I got a lot of fucking problems with that. But the way that this started was we were going back and forth as far as text gun. And we talked about the vaccine ad nauseum. Everybody in the zeitgeist is talking about the vaccine in some sort of capacity. This video will probably get shadow banned.
Elon's dumbass
fucking
tweet.
video going to YouTube. All this shit. But what ended up happening was this last week, Devondre Campbell of your Green Bay Packers.
Yes, Packers starting middle linebacker. Great player.
What did he tweet?
Pissed me off. Oh, it was like, I would rather retire than take this. I knew I was right about this vaccine being deadly. You know, a bunch of shit like this. And y'all didn't believe me. And I texted, and I was like, oh, great. He's gone. He's an idiot. I mean, he's a great player. I love watching him play on the field. Idiot. Just like Rodgers. My favorite player in the NFL, by the way, Rodgers. Idiot. And I shouldn't say idiot in totality. They're absolutely idiots in this one area, and it absolutely makes me think less of them.
Shut up and play football, nigger. That's what you're saying. So
Aaron Rodgers is white.
No, I'm talking about Devondre Campbell. You'd fillet Aaron Rodgers at this particular point in time if
I want Aaron Rodgers. Wait, we can't get too much into sports, but I'm not going to fillet Aaron Rodgers.
Look, at the end of the day, I do have a fucking major issue with the way that you and people of your ilk are talking about people that have reservations about taking the vaccine, especially now.
What do you mean, especially now?
Especially now because, all right, if someone decides not to take the vaccine, who are they really hurting at this particular point in time?
Themselves. Yeah, but I'm not saying throwing them camps. I mean, like, let's be real. When the first thing came out and people were refusing to, and it was like Delta, and it was the vaccine was effective against transmission, and the country was not opening back up, yeah, my initial thought was to round up a bunch of game wardens, give them tranq darts full of the J&J, and unleash them in Mississippi. Yeah, obviously we're not doing that any longer, because that's unnecessary. But it doesn't mean that I don't think they're still not idiots. I absolutely do. Yep. I just think, they're free to be idiots off in their own little world and die of COVID.
But regardless of any of that shit, all I'm saying is that right now, the problem that I have as far as the way that you talk about this shit is that liberal, elitist, white bullshit that drips off of you when it comes to this holier-than-thou position as far as the vaccines, where at the end of the day, like, I tell this story. When I was a kid, I'm at a Blue Diamond Chinese restaurant at 18th Street in D.C., near Adams Morgan, okay? I got to be like 6 years old, something like that. So we go inside the restaurant, and we're picking up the food. The food's not quite ready yet, so we're just kind of standing around near the entryway. And they had a little cooler, the beverage coolers or whatever. You could go and you could grab something to drink and take it to the counter. So I asked my dad if I can get a drink. He's like, yeah. So I open it up, and I pick up a bottle of Snapple. As I'm walking up to the counter of the bottle of Snapple, he snatches that shit out of my hand so goddamn fast, said, put it back, and get something else. And I was like, what? He's like, I'll explain to you when we're in the car. And I get in the car, and my dad lets me know, you're not allowed to drink Snapple. And I said, what are you talking about? They put stuff in the Snapple that makes black men sterile and potentially could kill us. And that's why you need to stay away from Snapple. The thing is, I remember that. It's stuck, it's ingrained in my brain ever since then. Now, when I got older, I drank Snapple and I actually looked into it. And apparently, during the late 80s and early 90s, Snapple actually had to come up with a campaign to get black people to not believe that the owner was a founder of the Ku Klux Klan. It was a huge thing going around the African-American community.
Was the owner a founder of the Ku Klux Klan?
No, but like every white person past a certain age, they probably took photos with somebody. So there was some racism involved. There's some racism involved. But the thing of it is that, like, when I talk about that part of it, right, like, the idea that Snapple would be putting things inside their drink products in the hood to sterilize us, or my people, black people, is ridiculous. It feels ridiculous. It seems ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm. It is ridiculous.
But when you grow up and you hear stories of the Tuskegee experiments, when you hear things even up until modern day with how the pharmaceutical companies are responsible for the opioid epidemic, which I still don't know why people call it that, because when black people were down in the 80s and 90s, nobody gave a fuck. But
well, yeah, because it's affecting white people. Why do you think they call it that?
But my thing is this: if there's anybody out there that says, "Hey, I don't trust the government," and "Hey, I don't trust pharmaceutical companies," you're not crazy.
Yeah, but yeah. So in general, I think it's good to have a healthy distrust of big corporations. I certainly do, and the government. But it's a case by case basis, and in this case, it's dumb. In this case, the vaccine actually works. Two things can be true at the same time. One, the pharmaceutical companies are shitty and making a fucking killing off the vaccine. Two, the vaccine is very efficacious. I think that's a word. Maybe I just made it up. And very useful, and you should get it. Those two things can be true at the same time. They are not mutually exclusive options. And you gotta look, and you gotta look. It's not like you haven't had plenty of time. What?
Don't fucking say look at the data, because nobody's looking at the fucking data. You're not looking at the data.
No, I'm not saying look at the data, because I have looked at the data, but most people haven't. I admit that.
Bullshit.
But look at the trusted messengers. Yes, I did. I literally looked at the data.
You've not looked at the fucking data.
Well,
you didn't know what it meant.
Studies.
I doubt you know what the fuck it meant.
I didn't dig into the studies. I'm not an insane person.
Me and you have a mutual friend that we already said his name.
But I looked at the executive summary. Yeah.
Yeah, the executive summary.
That's
the
all
guy
you
who
need.
gets hired.
That's all you need.
The guy who gets hired by either the government or the pharmaceuticals to break down shit to sell said product. He's already, we're going to trust that part.
Not all of them are done by that. But yes, most of them are done by the government or the pharmaceutical companies. And then they're peer-reviewed. It's a scientific method. It's not perfect. Nothing is. But it works better than any other way.
Stop.
What?
It's just buzzwords. It's just buzzwords.
No, it's not buzzwords.
They mean nothing right now.
The scientific method means everything. So does peer review.
I get it, but that's the point that I have is that, like, look, I'm a firm believer in the vaccine. I'm a firm believer in the vaccine, but I'm a firm believer in the vaccine because I took everything as far as the information that was being disseminated to us, and I looked at it and I knew, all right, just statistically, I need to make a choice. Just based on everything I'm seeing, I need to make the best possible choice for me at this particular point in time. And the idea that from a public safety standpoint, it's a good idea for me to get the vaccine. But the thing of it is that, like, my thought process in going into it, right? I understood my logic behind doing it, but when I talk to other people around it, there seems to be either people that distrust the government and pharmaceutical companies, which I understand completely, and they're like, fuck that, I'm not doing that. It's the same way that there were a bunch of liberals and everybody wants to fucking pretend that this didn't happen. But when we knew that Trump was in charge of rolling out the vaccine, right? He was the leader in charge. When they said, all right, we're going to have a vaccine in record time, every single one of us liberals said, I don't trust that shit.
I admit, but I trusted that shit. I didn't trust Trump because you shouldn't trust Trump. Everything he says is a lie. That's just how it works. But the people in the government who I did trust, like Fauci, said the same shit.
The fuck
so I was
you know about Fauci? Were you following during the AIDS epidemic?
No, until COVID-19 hit, I knew fucking nothing. But then, of course, I read about it, and I was like, God damn, this guy's impressive. I can trust this guy. Of course. It's like trusted messenger type shit.
I barely trust any of them.
Look,
okay?
Did I look at the data, like the overviews of the data for COVID-19 vaccine? Sure. Did that make the decision for me whether I was going to get the vaccine? Fuck no. I got the vaccine because people I trusted in the government and in, not really pop culture, but in politics, told me that it was safe and effective. And then I was like, fuck it, let's go, baby.
Here's what I knew. I'm being bluntly honest with you. When I signed up for the vaccine the first time, now I'm a fat dude with asthma and I smoke. I should be dead already. And the idea that I'm telling anybody what to put or not put in their bodies from a health standpoint, you know that I'm not fucking going there, okay?
Do as I say, not as I do. Come on, bro.
Nope, not doing any of that shit. I ain't telling anybody shit. But the thing of it is that the only reason I trusted it, if I'm being brutally honest, was I saw enough rich white people take it.
Yeah, maybe.
Good.
So, I'll be
here's what,
well, I'm not rich, but I'm a white person. You can trust me as the messenger.
I'll be honest, but I'll be honest. The first time I signed up for the vaccine, it wasn't through CVS, it was through something in Maryland. And I'm going through the paper, I'm going through the online fill-out sheet, and it asked for my race, and it wasn't optional. And when I saw that, I'm like, I'm not going here. I'm like,
you think they were going to give you the wrong vaccine? I've heard that. I've heard that conspiracy theory. Yeah,
but I don't think. But here's the thing: I don't think I'm batshit crazy for thinking that, or at least having my mind go there at least to some degree.
No, you're not batshit crazy for that crossing your mind. It's in no way batshit crazy. For that being a concern, it's not batshit crazy. What's batshit crazy is to go from those concerns and that crossing your mind to saying fuck the vaccine.
I get it. So what I did was that I went somewhere else, and I could go all the way back down to Virginia where I used to live, and down there I would get the ability to sign up, and it didn't ask for my race. I mean, my name's Kadeen, so I'm assuming they knew I wasn't white, so there was a little bit of problem there, but I was like, I'm going to take it for face value.
Middle Eastern descent, yeah.
Which means I'm probably going to get the worst version down in Virginia of that, but it's whatever.
The one with the tracer in it, yeah. That's
might be the case. Might be the case. But the thing of it is that, like, all right, so I got my vaccine, and still, look, every time that some young athlete or something passes, like DeMar Hamlin, and everybody goes on Twitter and starts going batshit, oh my God, this, that, and the other. I'm not going to lie and say that there's not even a little bit of inkling in me that's like, it's the jab. It's like, there's a little part of me that does it. It's just a little bit. But there's the thing is that I live in a world in which, because of my upbringing, because of the people around me, because of what we experience, we distrust, and we're legitimate in those concerns to distrust. And the thing is, there's a lot of poor white people that feel the same way. I don't trust this.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of wealthy white people who feel that way too, or middle class.
But it used to be a liberal thing. All the way, remember, even us in our short amount of time, I mean, we're old now, but like looking back at like elementary school, middle school, when Rage Against the Machines out there, fucking the cool shit was, fuck, we're not trusting shit our government says. We're not trusting shit the pharmaceutical companies say. It used to be like a liberal bashing of questioning everything, right?
And it seems as though you should question, and once you're finished questioning, you come to the right decision.
No.
Good job.
So that's the issue. That's the fucking issue.
Yeah.
Is that when people have questions,
yes,
your side, people like you say, just look at the fucking research, you fucking dummies. Or I'm gonna grab all you motherfuckers up and throw you down in Mississippi for you guys to fucking start. You guys go from
not
0
anymore. They're
to
only hurting
100.
themselves, but originally.
Oh, fuck out of here. You even told me when we were talking about the Devondre Campbell thing, it's like, hold on, I'm talking to you about this. I'm just not going to talk to other people about it, but this is the way I feel. I know how you feel about it. Okay?
Oh, this is my thing. Well, yeah. But I don't think we need to throw them in cages or pens any longer because it's not really hurting anyone other than themselves. But back when they were actually contributing to the spread of Delta, yeah, fuck those people.
But here's the thing: when every opportunity anybody had from the left to have a civil discourse on why it's a good idea to take the vaccine, and also why everything you're feeling as far as your hesitancy and your you're not willing to trust these people, I understand. The person that probably explained it the most, at least in the line, I heard him on I forget the name of the show, but Neil deGrasse Tyson was on a show. They like the right wingers and everything are still going fucking nuts over it. But he explained it to the best of the way that I felt back then, other than the way I felt about not trusting what they're not giving to rich white people. Was look, when COVID first broke out, in my room I had a box of N95 masks. I had a box of N95 masks that I always had.
Prepared,
right?
You were prepared, yes.
I have bug out bags and shit like that. I'm a little bit growing up in DC after 9/11 and seeing what the fuck happened on 9/11. I'm not fucking crazy. It's not about it's not even just about apocalypse. It's if there's even a terrorist threat in DC that renders DC I need to know where I'm doing and where I'm going, okay? So, like, the N95, and also when I was a kid, they had me on all sorts of meds because I could tell you what anthrax or smallpox might do to a person. I was fucking crazy as far as that goes. But
Oh, good.
I had N95 mask, right? And during the beginning of the pandemic, when everybody was wondering, all right, well, do we need to wipe down our groceries? Like, what kind of mask are you going to use? This, that, and the other, right? I knew these things. I knew that my N95s that I had were basically useless to me because I didn't want to cut my beard. And if you're not going to cut your beard, it doesn't fucking matter because you're not, right, you need a seal on it, right?
It won't seal.
So it was like, there's that. But then you also heard that there was a shortage of N95 masks, right? So what do? They told everybody they started disseminating information, telling everybody, don't use N95 masks. Now,
really,
me sitting at home...
They said don't use masks at all.
Right. So when they said that, save it for your healthcare professionals to stay home, right?
Motherfuckers
Now, when
lied.
I hear
they
that-
straight up said that, it's not very effective. But no, they were doing it because there was a shortage of them and they needed it for the healthcare people.
But see, that's the thing. The conversation that should have happened, the conversation I was having people, the conversation I did hear, if I searched out for it under certain news networks and stuff, right, was, well, hold on. We're not saying masks don't work. We're saying that, number one, most Americans don't know how to properly fit an N95 mask.
Yeah.
So they're going to waste it. And then number two, we have a shortage of them. So the idea is, how about you guys do things that don't make you have to use masks? So just don't go out, and we'll have the mask for the professionals that need it. That's a nuanced conversation that can happen to clearly explain to people what's going on. But you know what happens?
Yes.
People assume, and rightfully so to a lot of degrees, Americans are dumb. They're not capable of having that conversation. So you know what they say? Don't wear masks.
Yeah,
so
I kind of fall into that camp too. I used to be all about the nuance when I was younger and more idealistic, and then I realized nuance is amazing in practice. In an ideal world, but when you're actually trying to do mass communication, nuance is fucking impossible. And it's not just an American thing, although it is more American than other advanced economies, as they so call it, or peer nations. But it's fucking hard. So it's a simple message. Masks don't work, don't wear them. That works pretty fast. As opposed to, look, masks may or may not work. The data is inconclusive, but you don't know how to fit them right now. And so they're probably not going to work for you. You need to stay inside anyways. And the healthcare workers really need them more than you right now. So please don't buy or wear them.
But here's the thing. If that's the case, right, look back to where liberals were at that particular period of time. Yeah. Most liberals even aren't having that nuanced conversation. What they do is there are people that think of themselves as intellectuals and want to be against anti-intellectuals, right? So what do they do? Anytime they see a scientist on TV that's doing that dumbed-down fucking message, they parrot it. So all they're doing is all over Instagram and everything else.
Yeah, but they find something else to parrot anyways. That's irrelevant.
But here's but my point is that they do that part of it, right? They scream at everybody that the mask. Why are you fucking idiots wearing your mask everywhere? It doesn't fucking matter. Then it was the same people saying, if Trump's fast tracking the vaccine, I ain't taking that shit. Then you wait a few more.
So that, first of all, let's be real. There's some differences in sides here. I trust people on my side way more than I trust people on the other side.
See, it's the side shit. I hate that side shit. It's the shit that, look, if liberals could just admit collectively, hey, we were a little crazy at the beginning of that thing. You know, we were a little
there was
nutty.
some overboard shit. 110%.
But we're not having that conversation. But they're not having that conversation. They're not having that conversation. What they are saying is that I'm on my side, they're on their side. We're not apologizing. What do they say? Well, we did the best with the information we had then. Now get the fuck out.
Yeah. So there's some cases that's true. In some cases, like, for example, the schools. It was pretty clear much faster than the reopenings of the schools happened that children were not a serious risk factor for both transmission or for serious illness and death. And we kept the schools down. Right. Now, in fairness to the people who kept the schools down, a huge part of that was teachers, which I have complete sympathy for. The schools still needed to reopen, though. The schools still needed to reopen. We're going to be feeling the consequences for kids losing, especially in lower and middle income communities, for straight up like decades, for them lost a year and a half of education.
See, you know what you should do? You know what you should do? Go find a conservative Trumper and say that to them. Say it to them.
I could say that to them.
Hey guys, say, hey, look, you know what? Yeah. You guys had a point. The school thing,
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, we were a little crazy about that. Sorry, you're not
I
sorry.
can say that, Tim. I have no problem admitting that. You know what they say? I'm right about everything else, too.
No, because the point is that if you come, that's that self-fulfilling prophecy shit. If you come hat in hand, one step out, hey, I'm a human being, this is the way I felt about it, and I was wrong here, you reach across. Like, that to me is like the civil conversation part of this has completely got thrown out the window when everyone should be in the same thought process.
It's like what I've done with the I don't think it works.
It used to.
Yeah, it may have used to, but I don't think it works anymore. And I don't think it doesn't work because people don't reach out. I think it does because of the media and social media ecosystem. That I don't think people have genetically changed, obviously.
But that's the point of me having this conversation with you, is that the idea is that through social media or through anything, if you keep yourself to a level and holding the discourse here, right? Then what do? Everyone around you, around that discourse, can then elevate what it is that they're doing to some degree. At least that's my thought process, anyway.
I mean, I would like to live in that world. I don't think
we can live in. My thought is that we can actually live in that world if we just give it a fucking shot, you know. But that's the thing, is like everybody at this point, most of all, just wants to be right, or they want to be right now. When things change, I always hate it when people say that I believe in something. Because instead of I just think this thing. Because when you say belief, it goes to some sort of moral center or fiber of who you are. And then to admit that you don't believe said thing anymore feels like an affront to who you are as a person.
Yeah, most people want it midair. I'll admit air all the time. That doesn't bother me at all. But most people won't do it. I understand that. And it's tough psychologically to admit air. Again, for lots of people, for me, being wrong, it doesn't bother me very much.
Yeah.
But I just don't think, like, obviously my liberal bullshit being condescending and whatnot doesn't help change any minds, right?
It makes it worse.
Yeah. But here's the difference between you and me. I don't think anything I would do could. I don't think there's a small group in the middle that I need to be fighting for in politics.
No, it's not.
And mobilize our people. Those two things. It's
not at all.
That 35% that loves Donald Trump like he's the best thing ever.
No, because y'all don't talk to them.
But let's put it like this. The policies I support are going to help those people a lot. But I've written them off as potential voters.
But here's my point, is that the people that you're talking about that you want to cast off, I still talk to them. You don't talk to them. I talk to them.
No.
And you know what their number one concern is?
I don't know.
Pretentious assholes like you.
Well, like, they go fuck themselves. That's the number one issue.
Fuck that, because they're right. They're right, though. They are right. They're right.
That's not my number one concern. My number one concern
because you think
with 12 toes.
No, but that's because you think
my number one concern is like income inequality.
Yeah, but here's the part of it.
Or racial justice. Yeah.
See, this is where it makes me angry, right?
Yeah.
Is the privilege that oozes from you. As somebody who's more affected when the other side wins things, right? I am significantly more affected by shit when the other side wins than you. Because you are fairly insulated, okay? As far as shit goes down, all right? So
that is true.
When in 2016, when I was yelling when you were working on Hillary's campaign, and I'm telling you Trump's going to win, and you dismissed me. You dismissed me.
You all the time.
You summarily dismissed me.
I was dead wrong.
I said, Brendan,
dead wrong.
I said, Brendan, I'm in Virginia. I'm down here with
Hey, we won Virginia. That's where I worked. I want to make that very clear.
Hold up. But the idea of it was, you were in Northern Virginia, motherfucker. So I was not in North Virginia. So look, when I was telling you they're going to win, and you're like, no, wait, I can't. And I'm like, you guys don't understand. It has nothing to do with his policies. It has to do with they hate you. And they're right, because you guys suck. Liberal white Democrats, for the most part, fucking suck. You guys suck. You guys, I'm willing to do anything to help my side except have a civil conversation with the other side.
I've had civil conversations with the Trumpsters, people.
You don't stop, though. That's the thing. It's not to stop. It's everybody keeps talking about like what it is you're willing to sacrifice, or how hardcore I rock for liberal sensibilities. And what's your part? What are you going to do? Well, I'm not even capable of having a civil conversation with people that don't agree with me.
I've had civil conversations, but no minds are changed. No, there's no like great
thing. Because I highly doubt with the anybody can comment on this, okay? Please comment on this. With seeing him right now and the vitriol from the very beginning of this episode, this segment that he has for them, do you think he's capable of having a civil conversation?
Yes, I have family.
Without being look, I was in Missouri with you and your family. Every chance you got, you were, they're nice, but goddamn, they're crazy. And it oozes from you.
No. I found out that family is not Trumpers.
Cool,
but yes,
I heard that they thought that you were the cool city guy. Like, they look at you and your sister as like the cool ones. I'm like, y'all fucking what? So y'all like,
I'm telling you, if I can be cool, that just proves the superiority of the city, because that is.
God damn it! Your family is talking about you, son of a bitch.
I love my family to death, and I have nothing against individuals in the things. I like to say but I take percentages into account, and as a percentage, rural people are fucking up this country. That's just a fact.
Look, because I think you guys are just as responsible, and the reason you're just as responsible is this: the other side don't hate you the same way that you hate them. It's a different thing.
What do you mean?
They
hate us more than we hate them. We just
bullshit. Yeah. Hold on, hang on. I'm saying I just said the hate is.
We write them off.
Okay. It's different. You guys have an air of superiority. You think you're better than. That is not where they're coming from. They're coming from a standpoint of they think you guys lost your fucking minds, and they think you guys are weak. That's where it is. But the thing is that, like, there's a difference there.
What do they think we're weak about? I don't get that. I don't even get lost.
They think for the most part, you guys are snowflakes.
For sure. Snowflakes.
You guys are snowflakes, snobs. You can't necessarily deal with adversity the same way that some other people can.
Get the fuck out of here. People in the city deal with adversity all the goddamn time.
Motherfucker, lose your internet for a day. I'd like to see how well you do. So the idea...
It wouldn't be pretty.
Or even...
I'm not saying I can deal with adversity. I'm taking the city folk in general.
Me and you will have... Because, look, me and you will have these conversations, these podcasts go on, about how many white people... white liberals will talk about how shitty the redneck Trumpers are to black people, and in the same sense will not vote for housing zoning to change for multifamily homes in their communities because they're worried about property values.
I'm not saying my side's perfect, bro. We have a lot of fucking problems.
But see, that's my thing, is that when you have people like
binary choice.
My thing is that when you have people like me, and I'm going to speak on behalf of the majority of black people, which is, we look at all of you guys.
It's a bold move.
And we say this, though. We say, right, left, white, y'all fucking crazy and fucking this up for all of us. Like, that's where we're coming in. You guys are fucking all this up for all of us. And the thing is, and then black people, what I don't stand for, I don't stand for people getting upset at black people for not trusting the vaccine. Because if you know our lineage and our how and what's we've gone down for us.
One second. I have a dog.
So, muzzle a bit.
Mama, open the door. No dog's coming out.
That was a total mom meatloaf moment, and I need us to make sure that we...
Sorry, dog was barking. Continue. Were you just ranting about what?
No, I made fun of you for a little bit. I can't wait for you to see that part of the pod. All right, so...
What is it?
No, you'll see. The idea is that I don't... Black people not trusting the government or pharmaceutical companies, I understand completely, thoroughly. I get it. Outside of that, I also understand that us sitting here just... Everyone asks us to come and basically save the day, right?
Huh?
You need help in Georgia.
Save the day?
Hold on. No, us. Black people.
Black people.
You need help in Georgia? Yeah, come save the day. North Virginia, the demographics kind of working. Black and brown people, come save the day. Like, you need us to show up to do all this fucking shit, right? And then at the end of the day, I can say, hey, you know what really help us? If you guys could, like, hash out your shit. If you white people could just, like, talk and realize you're both kind of full of shit.
Yeah, so yes, that would be wonderful. I agree.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you like most white people, and
and I'm not saying it's not going to happen because on my side. What? I'm just saying that's not going to happen. It's too far down the rabbit hole.
I'm not gonna do it. And that's the thing is, like, no matter how much people say this is a good idea, this is the only way that things will change. You guys will say
no. I don't say it's a good idea. It's a very bad idea, and it will not change anything. It will not. They've done science. They've done study. I know you don't like polling. I know you don't like the thing, but it's not effective.
Yeah.
It's changing people's mind. It's so goddamn hard on big issues.
It's not about changing their mind. Here's the thing, is that when you're talking about changing minds, what they talk to and what they speak to is how to present facts and data to people to convince them that their argument's different. That's not how you change facts and mind. That's not how you change people's minds. The way you change people's minds is for them to realize, I'm just a person like you that wants to provide for their families and make it home safe. I see you. And we're all trying to get through this shit together. When I can look across the aisle and say, hey, you, I understand why you feel the way you do. But here's when this conversation happens, right? When you look at somebody across the aisle and you say, hey, look, I totally understand why you feel the way that you do about the vaccines and shit. I get it, man. Totally understood. I'm kind of right there with you. But I'll tell you this. When the numbers were coming down and a lot of people were dying from COVID, there was a choice that had to be made. And when it came down to it, it became a public health thing. And I get it. Government mandates, I don't trust the government. But here's the deal. When it comes down to it, we knew X amount of people were dying. And they were dying at that clip. We had something that could slow the shit down to a point at which we could keep going. That's the choice that was made. Do we know what the vaccine is going to do to us 10 years from now? No. Do we know what the vaccine is going to do to us 15 years from now? Absolutely not. But you know what we did know? We knew that if we continued down the path that we were going, a lot of people were going to die. So that was something that we had to do. In the same way that, hey, Billy Bob, Billy Bob, the thing is that if you, I understand that, right? I understand you don't want the government telling you what to do. But I'll tell you this. When's the last time you've been to Burger King, McDonald's, or Wendy's, or any of them? Well, again, last week. Got it. If you found out that there was nothing preventing those workers, if you told me, I go to all those establishments. So if you found out that those people weren't by law required to wash their hands, would you have a problem with that, Bob? Fuck yeah.
Well, his name's Billy Bob, so probably not.
Billy Bob. Here, Billy Bob. Have you ever heard of Typhoid Mary? And break that shit down to him, right? And when you understand, like, hold up, okay, that makes sense. It's two sides of a coin that nobody really likes.
No one really knows. I'm still not getting the vaccine. I've just wasted 30 minutes of my life. That's how I feel. But if someone says I'm not into the vaccine, it's a government conspiracy. All I say is,
God damn it, motherfucker! It's not about the vaccine. Once again. The vaccine, we're at a point where if you don't take the vaccine now, that's on you. You're not really affecting me. It's on you, right?
That's why I would just say you do you.
No, but here's what matters.
Yes.
What matters is the people that are anti-vax feeling heard or understanding where they're coming from, because you know what? Regardless of whatever's happening with the vaccine, they're voting next cycle. They're voting the cycle after that. They're voting the cycle after that. And anytime that you assholes are sitting on the other side of the aisle, never apologizing for shit, never admitting when you go overboard, using all kinds of hyperbole, and not willing to have that conversation to make it feel heard.
I do enjoy
bullshit.
Hyperbole.
Bullshit. You apologize?
Oh, yes.
I know you, fucker.
I apologize all the time to my family. When I screw up, I'm a very good apologizer. Now, you could fairly say that I apologize and then don't follow that up with any action to change. Now, that's reasonable.
Here's what you do. Go on your Facebook right now. Even though you don't really use it, go on your Facebook and write a status that says, hey, if you thought if you were around me and you thought that my language around the vaccines and mandates last year was a little harsh, I'm sorry. I now know new information, and I shouldn't have come down as hard as I did on you guys.
Well, I didn't say that to people outside of you and like a few other friends.
No, regardless. I'm saying if you post that, right, you have opened up a road of dialogue for another person to feel as though they're not batshit crazy rednecks that deserve to be put in camps in Mississippi that you do think, or that you think you're better than because you leave their, like, your family's from fucking Missouri.
The camps were only
you give no
necessary when
shits
Delta
about
was going on. That was
but I've seen the disdain. I've seen the disdain at which you have as soon as you get off a plane in Missouri, as far as being there.
Look, I like Kansas City and St. Louis, and Columbia is a great town. The rest of the state, not so good. Let's be real here. No, not.
Don't say not so good. Tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel about it.
What?
You fucking hate it. And that you hate it and you don't like the people that are there, you think they're trash. And I'm telling you, as a black dude that's on the receiving end, as a black dude that's on the receiving end of racism and all kinds of shit on all sides of it, I'm just saying, your side and their side ain't too fucking far apart.
Get the fuck out of here. I come from this stock. I come from the rural redneck stock.
That is my stock. Stubborn as shit.
That is my stock.
Stubborn as fuck.
I was lucky enough to have parents who moved me away. But I still have family there. I love my family. It's just the ratios, Kadeen. It's the ratios of quality, like, people that I want to associate with, and, less so good. And the ratios are flipped in the cities. That's just what happens.
You're fucking Bradley Whitford in Get Out. Show me how many times you'd vote for Obama.
I'm talking about white people almost exclusively.
I know, but there are white people that think they're more superior than other white people. There are white people like you that think you're superior to other white people. And I, as a black man, when I hear any group talk about being superior than another group, it rubs me the wrong way. Do you understand that?
I can fully understand that. Yes. But at the same time,
if a Jewish person is listening to this and they hear, he thinks he's superior to another group, I don't like where that's going.
I understand. But I am mostly almost entirely reserve my disdain and hatred for people of my own race. It is because I have seen that they have gotten every goddamn fucking advantage available since this country founded, every goddamn one, and they still decided that they're going to blame the blacks and the Jews and the women for fucking shit going wrong. What? How does that even make sense?
What pisses me off even more than that is that my blood has been here on this continent longer than yours.
Probably. I don't know when my ancestors came here. It wasn't recent.
You fucking potato famine son of a bitch. No. You came off goddamn boats and they said, here's some farmland. We're not giving it to the blacks, though.
Yes. This is exactly why. Because people like me came here, and sure, there was some Irish discrimination, but no one gives... And
in New York,
and then they gave every advantage to us all the way from the start, right? When we came here, the white people came here and fucked with the Native Americans, stole all their shit, then had slaves to do all their labor for them. That had all the laws written by them for them, so on and so forth. Every goddamn advantage, and then you come out of that with every goddamn advantage, and then you say, you know what's problem with this country? It's black and brown people and women, and
I'm
other
saying
minorities.
that what's further wrong,
and
about
that's the root of my disdain. That is the absolute root.
But what I'm saying is that someone who's on the receiving end of all that shit and has historic receiving on the end of all that shit, at the end of the day, because we make up such a tiny part of the population here in this fucking on this continent. We're reliant on you fucking assholes getting your shit together to pass laws. And when you guys are arguing over dumb shit, because you're basically the same to all of us, at the end of the day, it's like, all right, we got one side that's a lot more performative than the other. They give us black fucking boxes on black boxes on profile pics. They want to show off all this kind of shit. They're about how being an ally, right? I got the other side that wants to call me a nigga to my face, which I kind of appreciate the honesty, at least. And then there's a level at which it's like, can y'all just get your shit together? Y'all are just being stupid.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
Just being
I agree.
Dumb as fuck. And it's like, it makes me not, that's the thing. The more and more I live, the more I'm reminded about Patrice O'Neal. And I'm going to end the Vax conversation on this before we move on to NFL playoffs. Patrice O'Neal used to go on the Opie and Anthony radio show. It was one of my favorite radio shows. It ended in a very, very racially weird way. He always said this. He said that him and Anthony Cumia would get into arguments about race, and he's like, and Anthony would always talk about all these black crimes and all kind of shit. And Patrice would just say, "Fuck, keep talking." And he realized, just here's the truth that we need to get down to.
Yeah.
Black people don't like white people. We don't like you. We're right. We're right for that. We're not gonna treat you any differently. We're not gonna do anything weird because we don't have superiority complexes. You guys do that. You guys, in any circumstances you can, you find ways to feel better about yourselves than other people. That's just what you do. For you, it's your redneck friends or family.
It's not my family. I love my family. It's the people that live around. Yeah,
got it. You guys always find some sort of way to have some sort of superiority complex in some sort of realm. Whereas we don't. We just literally want to say, can you let me exist? I'll let you exist. We can disagree about shit. We don't even have to like each other. But it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Let's keep it moving, you know? And I just think the vaccine debate overall...
That's what I said. That's what I said at the beginning. I think they're idiots. I'm going to write them off, but I'm going to let them do them because they're not hurting me any longer. Let them do them.
But your level of vitriol for them seeds from you. And now you can't say that you haven't said bad things about them in a public forum because this is a national podcast. So there you go. Yes. So now everybody at least knows what it is I've had to hear from you.
They need the whatchamacallit. The show for success needs an arrogant, condescending liberal. Otherwise, there won't be tension. Otherwise, there won't be tension.
The tension is you're a white guy, I'm a black guy. That's it.
That's not enough.
Because if we're being real, that is tension.
Yes,
right? And I said,
of course.
I've dated white women. I've been married to a white woman. I'm dating your sister. And at the end of the day, there is always a level of, no matter how much I love you, I take a bullet for any one of you. That being said, there is always going to be a limit of fucking white people. There's always that.
Obviously.
With everything that occurs, it's, God damn you fucking white people. And that, to me, here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to be Emmanuel Acho, uncomfortable conversations with an African Negro, and do this bullshit where I'm going to make everybody feel good about themselves because I don't want to rock the boat. That's not the point. I want to be real on this podcast. What's real is your side, their side, both full of shit, and you're ruining it for all of us. And that's it. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
There's a lot of truth in that. I have no problem with admitting that. There's a lot of truth in that. Their side is just ruining it more.
God damn you! All right, so
just facts. Just facts.
Your side is more responsible for Trump than their side is, but we'll talk about it another day. All right.
Okay, that's a whole new can of worms. We'll get into that.
It's a whole nother thing. But vaccines, get them if you want to. I'm getting mine.
Please get the vaccine. It's good for you.
I'm not telling anybody
I
what to do.
fucking hate the vaccine. I've gotten it. I've gotten all the boosters. It makes me sick as a dog for 2 days after it. Fucking miserable. I still got them because I don't want to end up in the hospital from COVID. End of the
you
day
don't
story.
want to end up on a TikTok video looking like Michael J. Fox just shaking all over the goddamn place like a fucking moron. Sorry.
No one's going to put me on a TikTok video. I'm too boring for that.
All right. NFL playoffs. Let's get the sports shit out of the way. So,
I love sports.
Sports are fine. Like I don't dislike sports, but when I have to talk about sports
I should mention to our national audience, this podcast is already under protest because I am all of our viewers. I am a Wizards fan, and I wanted to go on a Wizards rant, and Kadeen told me I can't. What? We will go. I will find another segment to go on a Wizards rant. Let's just talk about the NFL playoffs.
Yeah, fucking, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
All right, 2 games.
Yeah, you and my family were the only one obligated to listen to my nonsense. Now that we have this forum, other people are obligated to listen to my nonsense too. Continue.
People, if you want to see me do a solo pod, I'll boot this fucker so goddamn quick. You have no idea. All right, so San Francisco, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Kansas City. Both these matchups are insane. They're great. What I was thinking is that we basically just say what we think is going to happen because we talk about this shit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to give my giant parlay that I'm playing this week to see if anybody wants to trail it.
Oh, good. Taking gambling advice from him. You will end up in the poorhouse. Although he did hit Mr. 9000 over here. He's coming in hot. So maybe this week
I'm not telling anybody
stays hot. Yeah.
I'm more up than I am down this year. I'll tell you that.
There we go. I don't gamble. I know nothing about it. When I do gamble, I lose.
Because DC has got one app. And you ain't got no driver's license. It's taking an Uber out to Maryland or Virginia to fucking to gamble. I think it looks bad for you.
Yeah, it does.
Hey, Mr. Uber driver, where'd you go sit in the car?
No,
right. San Francisco, Philadelphia. All right, so Philadelphia beat the absolute dog shit out of New York last week, right? Jalen Hurts looked good. He didn't throw for that many yards, but he looked good, right?
Yeah, he
San Francisco
well, looked healthy.
San Francisco barely beat Dallas, even though
game.
I mean it was a close game, good win. Even though Dallas looked so fucking stupid at the end, that goddamn lateral nonsense to Zeke or whatever the fuck they tried to do. What do you have happening in the game? Pretty. Who do you got? I said let's go to the spread. What do you got going?
You got to give me the spread. It's 2.5. By Philly?
I'm going to
Philly's
go
up
off
for
of FanDuel.
Is it 1.5 or 2.5?
God damn, give me a second, pull up FanDuel. Fuck.
Hurry up.
Jesus Christ. And what I do also want to do on this show is that we'll be on our phones to pull up shit. Because here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to be that podcast that's afraid of, like, silence without getting the information right. I think that could be one of our things. All right, Philadelphia minus 2.5.
That's the points aren't high enough. I'm going San Francisco. I think they win the game outright. I think San Francisco's defense is unbelievable. And so I think it's not a high-scoring game. It's not a low-scoring game, somewhere in the 20s. But San Francisco wins a narrow game on the back of their defense and running game, largely.
I'm kind of the same way. So yeah, give me San Francisco plus points. 2.5. They clearly. Now here's the thing: if this game ends up being Philadelphia wins by 14, I'm not blown away.
I wouldn't be blown away either. But the only way I can see that happening is if Purdy finally has his rookie moment. If he finally comes out and struggles, then yeah, I could see it being a 2-score win for Philly.
Well, that's my second point. I'm going to talk about Brock Purdy in just a second. But the main thing for me is that if Philadelphia finds some way, whether it be through special teams or something, to jump out to a lead, they get like a 2-score lead going, right? And Kyle starts getting in that territory where it's like, all right, we're going to have to throw a lot more than we're going to run. If you put it all on Purdy in that way, that's where I think the game could kind of get out of hand. But the other part of it is that the reason I'm really picking San Francisco is that Purdy's game last week was arguably his worst game that he's played. And they still were able to be victorious, right? So my thought is that I doubt Kyle Shanahan allows Brock Purdy to have 2 back-to-back subpar games. I think he's coaching the shit out of him this week. And that's where I'm like, I think Brock Purdy has a better game than he had last. But once again, at this stage in the playoffs, anything could fucking happen. Yeah,
this should be a good game. Again, I don't think it's going to be super low scoring, but I don't think it'll be super high scoring either. The defenses are both nasty on both sides, right? So I think scores. I don't know what the over under is, but I'd guess scores like 20-23, something like that. Not super low.
The line for that is 46.5.
Yeah, so I'd probably take the under on that. Yeah.
I'd probably I'd take the under on that too.
But let's just say overview first of all for the playoffs. I think this is the best 4 teams in the NFL. Maybe Buffalo's as good, but they didn't play well at the end of the season. And it's awesome that we finally get the best 4 teams in the NFL in the conference championships. That's great. So that
brings fun. You drop Buffalo's name because I'm going to talk about them as we go through this one. So Cincinnati, at Kansas City because they ain't got to play Atlanta because Buffalo fucking lost. Right now, this is one of those games you could tell. Vegas
KC minus 1.5, right?
Minus 1.5. There's no one knows what's happening in this game. Look, I'm picking the Chiefs. Minus 1.5 because it's 1.5, so who gives a fuck? I'm picking the Chiefs. And the reason is that, like, everything on paper right now shows me that Cincinnati should win this game. They're calling Arrowhead Burrowhead Stadium now because he's 3-0 against Patrick Mahomes.
Did you see the mayor of Cincinnati did the thing? Did a little bit skit? Yeah. Is Joe Burrow your daddy?
I didn't like that. I didn't love that one. But I thought
it was
too far.
I thought it was way
cringy.
too arrogant. I was just like, you can't go that far because it looks so bad if it doesn't turn out your way. You just look like an ass.
It really bugged me. I didn't love the look of that. But so I'm picking Kansas City.
Also, it was
this game
so awkward that the mayor was not very good at that. Yeah.
No, it was always cringy when they're trying to be funny and they're not fucking funny. Some intern had an idea. Some intern was talking to another intern, had an idea. The mayor overhears it. Oh, we should do it. I don't know if that's a good idea, Mr. Mayor. It was just enough public concern.
Whatever.
I'm going to do it. All right, look. On paper, Cincinnati. I do believe. I know I can never remember his fucking name, and it bothers the shit out of me. But the Bengals defensive coordinator. Do you know his name?
Obviously not.
Lou Anarumo. I think it's how you pronounce his name. Might be arguably the best defense coordinator, at least getting the most out of his defense than any other defense coordinator in the league.
Has been for the last 2 years. Has been doing an unbelievable job with that defense. Yeah.
And the thing is, if you look at him, if you watch any of the games, they do vastly different things depending on the team they're playing. They adjust the entire defense for the entirety of the game, depending on who the quarterback is. And they've had an amazing recipe for Patrick Mahomes. which is like they spend a good portion of the game only rushing 3. They drop one of the defensive linemen back into coverage. They play a lot of zone. Usually they'll play zone, but they'll have somebody on man on Kelsey, bumping him at the line, and then they got somebody playing man. So Mahomes doesn't quite know what to look at sometimes. And then when you have that many people in coverage, you got to kind of make something happen, right? And the thing with Mahomes is that he does make things happen because he's usually able to run around, buy some time, and then do some crazy Mahomes play. But we know he's dealing with the high ankle sprain going into this game.
Yeah.
So, on paper, Cincinnati should win this fucking game. But I do think what you've been talking about, what you even said when it came to the mayor thing, while I do think Joe Burrow has not crossed over or crossed any lines just yet, there is an arrogance coming from Cincinnati that it doesn't feel like Deion Sanders.
First time that's never been said about Cincinnati.
It's nuts. But it's Deion Sanders like. It's not it's not Chad Johnson like, which I'm just shouting even though my team's not going to make anything. I'm telling
Chad Johnson arrogance was I'm really good, my team is dog shit.
This is Babe Ruth calling his shot.
Yeah, sure.
Like this is what this feels like. This is Joe Namath saying, "And we're going to win this fucking thing." Right? I'm guaranteeing this. And there's a calmness about them that just feels as though it's an inevitability. I think Patrick Mahomes this entire season has been a fuck you to everybody that has something to say. Like, they all thought that he was going to crumble after Tyreek Hill, and he's been the best goddamn player. I was a believer before the season started. I always thought Tyreek Hill was actually kind of a crutch for him to elevate his game. I just think Andy Reid and those guys come prepared, and I think Travis Kelce I think they go hard in the paint. It's an offensive shootout. Give me Kansas City, baby.
So I'm rooting for Kansas City because I was born there. I'm not a Kansas City fan. I'm a Packers
you
fan.
Hate the people that are from there.
That's not true. I love Kansas City. Kansas City's great. There's great cities everywhere. Austin is in Texas. And much of my family roots for Kansas City. So I'd like to see Kansas City win, but I think the Bengals are going to win. Because I don't think Patrick Mahomes can make the magic happen with hopping around on one leg, which he's going to need to with Cincinnati's excellent A, pass rush, and B, excellent disguised coverage and whatnot, where he has to buy time to see what the hell's going on. So, I mean, I'm rooting for Kansas City. I hope he makes it happen. Patrick Mahomes is a runaway MVP. He's the best player in the league. He absolutely can make it happen. I will say I don't see any circumstance in when this game isn't close. I could see a blowout because Purdy plays like a rookie. And barring like a major injury to one of the 2 starting quarterbacks. But I think this is going to be a really close game, no matter what. The last time it went to overtime, and it was a close game when they played earlier this year, when they met in the playoffs last year, and the AFC Championship game went to overtime. So yeah, I think we're in for a great ride. Kansas City. The Cincinnati 49ers my Super Bowl pick, and I think the 49ers win it all, but. Part of that for me is honestly I'm just rooting for the story of the legend of Brock Purdy. Yeah.
All right. I am going to let you guys know I have a 9-leg parlay. They're giving me a plus 35,307. I'm going to do these once a week until the season over. Oh, fuck you. I've been winning. Okay, so I'm going to get your shit.
Well, 9-leg parlays you've been winning?
I've won multiple, plus 8-leg parlays.
Jesus Christ. Okay, come on. Spit this out.
I got Christian McCaffrey for an anytime touchdown. Devontae Smith for over 5.5 receptions. Brandon Ayuk for over 45.5 yards. Quez Watkins for over 1.5 total receptions. And George Kittle for over 3.5 total receptions. That's in the 49ers-Eagles game, of course. And then for the Bengals-Chiefs game, I've got a Jamar Chase anytime touchdown. Hayden Hurst, over 3.5 total receptions. Isaiah Pacheco, over 51.5 rushing yards. And Samaje Perine, over 17.5 rushing yards. Not too crazy. The idea that all of them will happen is why the odds are so high.
All happen at the same time.
If you want something you can play off of, maybe feel a little bit, maybe do a little round robin action so that when some of them hit, you'll be okay. That's what I'm doing. I won't go with my locks because that shit costs money. If you want to join a Discord or something, I might be creating one soon. We'll see.
We're going to sell picks?
I might sell picks. You're not going to be a part of that. With the disdain at which you just looked at me while I just did that makes me know any money I make on that side of it, you get none of it. Fuck that. If I end up with doing sponsorship with FanDuel, not you.
I don't gamble, but I think sports gambling is great. Selling picks, Selling
you.
picks is the part of the business I don't agree with.
Yeah,
Doing
the
sports gambling
business is-
content, wonderful.
Yeah.
Selling the picks, that's where I draw the line. Like, you're giving out your absurd 9-leg parlay. I think it's hysterical. I'm obviously going to make fun of you. Please don't bet your house, your car, your kids on this bet.
Bet
It's
all
a
of
nice
those
little
things.
tickler for $5. Yeah, but the
tickler.
selling the picks, that's where I'm just like, okay, come on now. Okay,
All
but
right.
let's go to The Last of Us. Well, our last
So
pop
I don't even know if I
culture.
want to go on The Last of Us because there were 2 episodes. I told you that we wanted to talk about something entertainment-wise to end the episodes.
I want to
'cause
talk about The Last of Us. I watched the first episode, and I
Yeah,
want to
but
talk
you're an
about it.
episode behind.
So that's okay. Whatever.
Can I talk about the
It's
second
fucking
episode?
streaming. Yeah, you can talk about the second episode. I know how the series ends because it's from a video game.
How do you know how the series? Did you watch? Did you play the video game? No, you didn't.
I
have
didn't play
PlayStation.
the video game.
Did you
I
watch
read
it all on
reviews
YouTube?
and Wikipedias of the video game when it was
The video?
the video. I'm sorry. When it like a
Stutter,
year after I
muttering,
came out,
cricket.
when I realized I was never going to be able to play it, and I desperately wanted to, and I was like, "Fuck it." Well, I might as well see what the story's up with it because I knew it was never going to come out on a console I could play.
All right. Well, can you get caught up for next week when we do this?
Okay, I will get
Completely
caught up for
with the
next
fucking
week.
show. If we're going to talk about this, we might talk about other things. I want to get to a point where I'm giving a song recommendation at the end of every pod, and maybe
That's
a movie
all you.
recommendation at
That's
the end
all
of the
you.
pod.
You know I know shit about music. Yeah.
All right. So, what did you think about the last of it? Even though you've only watched half the content that's released.
So first, it was awesome. It was super intense, like so intense I had trouble sitting through it for the first half hour of it.
So we're keeping away from spoilers. This is more of a hype thing.
Yeah. Very, very intense. Amazingly well done. Great acting in all parts. Great premise in the show too. So go in, watch it. It's tense. It's one of the more tense shows I've watched on television. And it's fast paced. But the thing is, it's not really fast paced at the beginning, but then it hits that fast paced thing and doesn't really stop. And so it's awesome. It's a great concept. I also watched the video game intro, which is very similar to the actual show info.
Shot for shot.
Shot for shot, except they've I mean, it's weird because one's live action and the other is video CGI, but they actually scaled up the action for the live.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So very cool, very well done in the video game. I was stunned about how great the animation was, but also how good the voice acting was.
Yeah, no.
And the
The
animation.
Last of Us, the game. Every girlfriend I've had since that game has come out, and spouse I've had since that game has come out, have been subjected with me saying you have to watch this YouTube video. And me showing them the first few minutes of it, and then them afterwards being like, "Well, I'm not playing the game, so why'd you show me that?" And I'm like, "But wasn't it cool?" So I do that nonstop.
So
I loved it.
Before we go, there's one brief thing. So there's I don't think this is spoiling anyone. There's a 20-year time jump halfway through the first episode of The Last of Us, and in the first part of the episode, Pedro Pascal is supposed to play a 35-year-old, and I'm like, okay, this is the most unbelievable thing about the episode.
The age stuff doesn't bother me anymore when it comes down to this.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
was like,
watching.
look, Pedro Pascal's awesome. I love him, but he ain't 35.
It's still but it's still watching Lyanna Mormont being led by fucking the Mandalorian is weird. Okay, so
That's true. That's
Beyond
true,
that, like they did a really good. I know everybody always has that inkling of not wanting to trust video game stuff when they translate a movie. I watched the Uncharted movie.
That's me.
I watched the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg a few months ago. It was dumb as shit. So not getting around it. And usually those things are dumb as shit. But they were so faithful to the video game. I stand firm that The Last of Us, as far as games that I played, is a top 5, maybe top 3 best story I've ever experienced in a game. And the fact that they just were like, hey, there are a lot of people that won't play video games. There are a lot of people like you that didn't have PlayStations. Let's just recreate this shit. Is an amazing idea. Don't go too crazy with it. If you have somebody staying faithful to the content that it's based on, and you know they have a love and appreciation for it, it's being shown through this show, and through the first 2 episodes, they're doing an amazing job. It reminds me of the first season of Walking Dead. The Walking Dead was a show that I followed like crazy, and then it just hit a wall, and I was done with it. And the thing to me is that if you look at The Walking Dead and why it was successful, in my opinion, the first season of Walking Dead, those short episodes that they had, were directed and brought to you by Frank fucking Darabont, the same guy that brought you The Shawshank Redemption. That motherfucker. And you could tell how faithful it was. And then as they kept going, they stopped doing things that were a little weird compared to what the comic books were doing. I Hate the Governor is one of my least favorite characters in the history of television because of how much they nerfed him in the fucking show compared to the comic books. And then you do something. The Last of Us, they're dealing with amazing actors. The story is the story is going to go for a while, and it's good the entire way through. Yeah, highly recommend. If you're not watching it, watch it. It's now basically, until Succession comes back, it's the HBO flagship, right?
Yeah. I mean,
or House of the Dragon. House of Dragon.
Well, House of Dragon's already gone. It's the current flagship, it's the current show that they're advertising the most that's on right now. But yeah, it was excellent.
Cool. All right, I can tell Brendan's losing interest behind doing this episode, so we're going to wrap it up now. I don't want to do final thoughts. Fuck that. No final thoughts on this. So,
I don't have any final thoughts.
No, you don't. You should be doing is apologizing to black people for your superiority complex over your fellow problematic white people. That's what you should be doing. You should be taking time to reflect on that.
Get the hell out of here.
You need to reflect on that, do some soul searching. You should do some research, and like when Martin Luther King wanted past a certain level before they blew his head off, like what he was working on then, and how it is you contribute to helping out that situation. Maybe that's what you should do.
Yes, he was working
learn how
on
to be an ally.
Equality. Yes, it's just
he was. What did you just say? He was working on equality. Yeah, yes. Great job.
Well, no, I mean, it's more specific because he had already restored.
Fantastic. Martin Luther King had a dream, and he was working on equality. Brendan was dropping mad knowledge on the people, equality,
specifically economic equality. He had said, they were restoring, essentially giving black people the dignity that they should have already received, and then he was working on economic inequality. In Chicago.
All right, you stop. All right, your black guilt, your white guilt is just showing right through. It's okay. It's okay.
It's not white guilt.
You don't care.
No,
you don't care. All right, this has been the first episode of the Extraordinary Nobodies podcast. Please like, share, subscribe. I want to do more of these. We want to do this once a week. Fuck around. We'll play around probably with the release day. See if there's a better day.
We should try to get a good release date. Topics in the comments are welcome. I am more than willing to opine on most topics.
Well, I mean, here's what we'll do.
But I'm more than willing to opine.
Here's what we'll do. We're not going through comments every fucking episode. I can promise you that. Depending on how many there are, I don't know.
We were never going to go through comments every episode. Now, you, on the other hand.
Fuck off. But if you please, leave your thoughts. I know the vaccine thing is a big deal for people, and if you agree with me, if you think I need to shut up, if you think he's a piece of shit, whatever it is, we want to hear from you, good, bad, otherwise. Also, we need to work on your microphone, whatever background noise you got going on there, because it sounds like shit. All right.
Is this better now?
It doesn't help with the background noise, you jackass.
What's the background noise? That's just my computer. Yeah, that's my computer. It's ancient. It makes noise. What do you want me to do? Yeah.
Next episode, I'll tell you about getting this fucker to set up with our test run we were going to try to start the podcast. All right, guys. Take it easy. I should have a signing off thing. Fuck off.
Bye-bye. We'll see you next week, hopefully. Don't leave us. Please.